Hey, Hardin County, I wanted to give an update on the commissioners meeting for October 15th. We had few things come through. Of course, we always have ditch and pike repairs, allocations. We had Jay Osborne and Kay Seabrook resign from JFS. They've had a lot of resignations lately. Amber will talk about that. She comes in from JFS a little bit later and talks about that. So as Tori's going through kind of the paperwork, she talks about Chris, the IT guy, is reformatting 16 laptops from Hardin Hills to reformat them and get them out to the other departments if they want them, so they're ready to go. They talked about their insurance. Chelsea is working on their insurance, and I don't know if you guys know, but we have Marcs radios that have, with ARPA money, have been put into all the schools around our county. And so they all have to have, like their towers, and I know the school buses have antennas and have receivers and all these things, and it's actually pretty expensive. And I think people are pretty divided on their usefulness. Right now, they're not working very well on the buses, so I think they've had them for a year and a half, and they're still trying to fix them. I know when you're in buildings, they don't work. They're great when you're out in the open, but if you have an emergency, you can get all the channels used up and they don't work anymore. So there's some plus and minuses. They're really expensive, and so they used ARPA money to get them to all the schools. The courthouse is going to be the last one. They're working on it here soon. But the insurance part of it is that to insure those, the commissioners own them and have paid for them. And so they are going to have to add each of the schools as a location on their insurance so that they can insure those Marcs Radio towers. And so they were kind of talking back and forth on that. It's always something. And so, and actually I think the sheriff is in charge of that system, so they might be able to pass it off to him. Who knows? I'm sure they'll find a way. So they talked about that a little bit. They talked about Keith Severance, who is I think he's LEPC or EMA, one of them. He has not come in lately, and so they want him to come in for regular meetings. So they're going to be contacting him. They talked about HP printers for the probate court. And so here's another thing, that the commissioners are going to use money to put cameras in the office because they need increased security, I suppose. I don't know how many offices in the courthouse have cameras. I think, probably the courtrooms and the judges and things. I know the prosecutors is locked. I don't know if they have cameras down there, but they feel the need to spend $3,000 on video equipment for the office. It does not have audio. It will only be visual surveillance. So, go all in if you have to, I suppose. So they are updating the back of the sheriff's station. There's like 3 kind of rooms back there and a little hallway that they're going to put in remodeling for EMA, LEPC, Red Cross. The paving down at the fairgrounds needs more money in it, so it's got some more bills to get paid. And Robert White came in. I know a lot of people know Robert or Bob White, and he come in and just sort of had a sit down. It was kind of nice. We got to hear a lot of his stories, kind of where he's been and on the ag committees that he's been a part of. And he just really spoke out about the fair board having alcohol at their concerts. So the beginning of November is their annual meeting. It's the only time they can change their bylaws. And so if they want to add alcohol in, then they're going to have to change the bylaws to do that. If you want to become a voting member, you have to come to those meetings. There's 2 meetings kind of a day or so apart, and you have to buy a season ticket. And so it's like the $26 for the season ticket and then $2 for the membership. And so then you can become a voting member of the Ag Society. They will be voting in their members and voting on some of these things. And so Robert was just really talking about how his dad was on the fair board ever in a day, and that they've had a lot of problems. He talked about some of the stories that they've had with drunk people on the premises during these concerts, and that there's this promise that if you sell alcohol, right, then it's going to pay for these big concerts, da 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 da. He says it doesn't happen. It's not the way Hardin County is built to draw in that many people. And we're going to spend the money, so you're still going to be in a deficit. And he suggests that we just bring in the shows that we can afford and be happy with it, because the alcohol is not the magic bullet and it brings a lot of liability. So he goes on and talks a lot about some other things with his ag background. So that was kind of cool. Amber Cronley came in with JFS, and so she's just been in here 2 weeks. So she took Jody's position. Jody went over to business manager's position. They've had a lot of turnover in there, and so Amber is going to be doing exit surveys for the people who are leaving to try to figure out what the problem is, kind of why are they leaving, how can they remedy that. And so that's kind of her endeavor. She gave a really nice report, very detailed as far as how much food they've given out, how many families it's affected. They've had 3 resignations this week, which I talked about. They're helping 3 adults and 16 youth. They have had 81 allegations, 21 investigations, and they currently have 25 kids in their services. So it sounds like she's gonna be able to kind of give a lot more detail and have an organized system over there. So like I said, I don't have much information on JFS, but hopefully they'll be able to get things back on a steady ground over there. So the last person who came in was a representative of the treasurer's office down in the State House. And I mean, he basically just came in, talked about like the Ohio Star program, the Ohio Homeowners Buyers Plus program, and Ag Link, and some loan program. He did say, because we have so much money here in Hardin County that we probably don't need a loan, but if we ever did, that they have special programs that we can use. And so that was pretty much it. Not too heavy work, but wanted to keep you guys updated, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks.